Welcome to our last episode of the month of April 2025. Today's story is so amazing. It's super positive, super uplifting. One of my favorite stories and clients that we've had. And I hope it will give you some insights, some ahas, some hope as well. There's a lot to learn from this story as well, just like there was a lot to learn from last week's story, which was truly the opposite of this, which is like when things just can go wrong and you can have all the help in the world to not make progress, right? So if you're interested, definitely check out last week's episode about, when parents aren't ready. But, if you're new here to my work, I'm Christine. I'm a pediatric feeding therapist, and I help parents of picky and fearful eaters go from stressed to foodie. And we use a really holistic approach. We look at the whole child across all four pillars of feeding, and we make sure that kids are on the right track to enjoy and love food and be curious about food, not eat it because they have to or because there's a reward coming, but to truly love and enjoy healthy foods. Okay, so I just want to share I have had the privilege of working with so many different families. I've been a speech therapist for many, many years now. I've worked with many families, but even in the short time that I've just done exclusive feeding therapy, right, which has been probably about five and a half years now. I guess that's not that short of a time, but I guess in the grand scheme of my life and career, it seems like a short time. One thing that consistently stands out, and you've heard me say this if you're familiar with my work and episodes many times, is the difference a parent's involvement can make in their child's feeding journey. So I'm going to share a story with you today about a child who started out truly terrified, like to a point like I've never even seen a child terrified to this degree, of food, terrified of food, and a parent who just wasn't sure that they were doing enough. Over time, with guidance, parent training, they made truly remarkable progress. Um, and this parent truly became the expert on their child and their eating, which I think is the best part. So this child had never eaten anything except purees. I would say they weren't nonverbal, but they struggled with communication. So they had therapy for sure, for language and such. But terrified of food, terrified of even the therapist, of the therapy room, everything was terrifying. Like to the point that he didn't even want to like be in the room many of the times, like trying to escape. A lot of sensory sensitivities, gagging at the sight of food, wouldn't even touch it, had to be fed, never ate sitting down. And everyone was just struggling. It was just every meal was, you can imagine with a case like that, how every meal is just a real true struggle. And making progress was a struggle, right? It's not like the parents didn't try. It's not like they just didn't try anything. Like they had tried many different things, but nothing had worked, right? Including other feeding therapy. Nothing was working. So we started really slow, really gentle, building trust, calming techniques. We used the safe and sound protocol more than one time. He'd do a few different rounds of it. Progress was on the slower end, especially because the parents were not doing really their part at home. They were just sort of bringing him in. So progress was slow at first. But he did start to gradually approach food. And I think it was when they saw some glimmers of hope that they got on board with what we were saying. But he started licking food at some point, right? And then they were like, oh, okay. Something is happening here. This has never happened to us ever before. Okay. I'll fast forward. He now eats steak, which going from puree, which is having never chewed in his life, to steak, which requires the most oral motor skill you can possibly have, is an incredible transformation by any means. It was truly remarkable. And I'm not going to lie, that did not happen in like 3 months. No, it took time. And again, especially because there wasn't much changing at home at first initially, right? But that progress was incredible. And he was coming to the food himself. He was getting curious. He was wanting to know what things tasted like and looking at his parents and his brother's plates. Okay. But when mom got more involved, could have been dad, but in this case, it was a mom that got more involved. She really wasn't sure if she was doing the right things. She didn't know if she was seeing, like, doing enough to help at home. And, of course, we had tried to coach her, but at this point, she was ready to do something different. Remember in the last episode, I was saying about how that mom just wasn't ready to be invested. This mom wasn't ready until a certain point, and then all of a sudden, something like sort of clicked. And she was like ready to do something different at home. But and I've heard this many, many times, but in one of our coaching sessions, she said, like, oh, I didn't do the homework. But as we dug deeper, what actually was happening was, and she realized this after I pointed it out, but I was like, but you did. Like, this is what we talked about last time. And you're telling me that those things actually did happen. So what happened was she didn't realize that she was making these changes. It didn't feel like homework because she knew what to do. It became part of her being a parent. It became part of who she was. She just knew what to do. She knew what to say. She knew how to present. So she didn't realize that she was just learning from me and internalizing it and applying it. So to her, she wasn't thinking like, oh, I didn't check off the things on the homework list. But that's because she was doing it naturally, which was like, like an amazing, mind-blowing moment for her. You should have seen her smile. Oh my God. She was like when you realize, like, wait a second, I did it. I was doing it. Like, she was surprised in herself, which was so cool. So she internalized like everything that we had discussed, which was, as when you're a teacher and your like student just like gets it, all of a sudden, like a light bulb moment, you're like so excited. That was me. So she became confident. It wasn't an overnight thing, but she became this really confident, I would say, feeding therapist, right? Not like she's going to like start taking clients, but she knew what to do for her child to make him successful. She knew how to get him to try the next food because of what she had learned with us, right? Um, she made changes without even noticing. Like when I would point them out, I'd be like, well, this is what was going on last time. How is that now? What's happening now with that? She'd be like, oh, actually, that's not really a problem anymore, I guess, because we haven't had to do that. So, it was like these little changes that she had made without noticing. And, she began to trust her instincts. Her routines got smoother. Her son was less anxious. He was trying new foods without resistance. And, she had like this total confidence, and she was just like a total badass about it. I loved it. So this transformation was really powerful because of the parent training. It wasn't just about what happened in therapy. It was about the confidence and skills she gained that she was implementing outside of therapy. And, she actually used what she learned to apply to her other children. So actually the whole family dynamic changed and the whole mealtime landscape changed. And now they all enjoy a variety of foods. So it was really a true win for everybody. But this mom realized she didn't need anyone to fix her child. She was doing the fixing. She was doing the work. My role wasn't to come in and do it for her, but give her the tools, the guidance, the reassurance to become the expert in her child's own feeding journey. And now she's flying on her own, managing mealtime challenges with her child and with her other children. And that's the ultimate goal of my program and parent coaching, to make you the expert, to help you feel empowered as your role as a parent. So, therapy is really just one piece of the puzzle. The real change happens when the parents step up, when they learn, when they take charge of the journey. It's not about quick fixes. It's not a big overnight breakthroughs. It's consistent, gradual, baby step progress. But when you trust the process, when you have the tools, when you gain the confidence to handle these challenges, that's when all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. The snowball starts rolling down the hill, right? That's when the big changes. That's when you see all of the magic happen. So if you're struggling with feeding issues, remember, you don't have to do it alone. I wouldn't recommend that you do it alone, but with the right support, you can definitely gain the confidence and skills to become the expert on your child's eating habits. So if you're ready to take the next step in this feeding journey, and it truly is a journey, I encourage you to reach out to us, explore our resources. Our Unlocking Mealtimes program is unlike anything else you will find out there. It is a complete roadmap detailing exactly where the issues are, how to get from point A to point B. And then our membership is our every month we coach you with twice a month sessions where we give you specific lessons to watch. We come back to the table, what worked, what didn't, how can we move you forward for the next 2 weeks, and really give you the tools and the guidance and the confidence to take these feeding challenges and turn them into wins. So if you're ready to do this, definitely check out all of our resources. You could even see where your child stands now in their feeding journey, right? Are they fearful? Are they stuck? You can learn at thepickiEatersTest.com and find out what type of eater you have. And that will get you started and give you some resources about the next steps. Okay. So if you like, you can visit us there, or you can learn more about what we do on our website, foodologyfeeding.com, to take the next step with us. And hopefully we will see you there on the inside. If not, we will see you again next month, next week. Have a great week. I hope you have I wish you lots of pleasant meal times with your family. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater. To learn more about achieving your child's feeding goals, check out Christine's website at foodologyfeeding.com. And be sure to tune in next time to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater.